Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors go out to the apostles, elders, the great millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom wa Barakiam to you brothers and sisters out there. Alright, this is the brother Malachi from the Great Millstone National Camp. And Lord willing that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. Alright, got this word pulled up here, imagine. Alright, because I was just thinking about Revelations 21 and 4. You know, and I decided, through Yahweh it's edifying and exhorting, I wanted to just, bring out a quick exhortation. And it also reminds me of that song by John Lennon, Imagine. Imagine all the people, which not talking about the lyrics of the song per se, but just the, rather the flow of the song. Imagine all the people. That type of thing, like imagine, like envision it. Envision Revelations 21 and 4. Which I'm gonna get that verse. But first let me get this etymology. So it says, to form a mental image of, sculpt, carve, paint, decorate, embellish. It says to form a mental picture to oneself, imagine. So form a mental picture of this scripture right here. Let's go ahead and get it in the blue letter. Revelations chapter 21 verse 4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So imagine that. Imagine, the kingdom of heaven, man. Everything that you ever wanted in righteousness is there. You got a huge family. You don't have to worry about anything at all. The only thoughts in your mind are righteous thoughts, positive thoughts, joyful thoughts. All right, we got the heathens in subjection. We never have to worry about, our kids, being touched or trafficked or murdered. We don't have to worry about our people as a whole starving, suffering in any fashion. Literally, imagine perfection, and that's the thing. Like scriptures say, eye hath not seen nor ear heard. We can only, whatever you imagine the kingdom of heaven is going to be like, man, it's so low level compared to what it's actually going to be. The kingdom of heaven is on a whole different vibration, bro. We can't even actually full-blown imagine, embellish, like I said as well, what that would be like. But just keep this scripture in mind, as you go throughout, these days going forward here. Look, you're never going to have to worry about anything. Right? You're never going to feel pain of physical, whether it be physical pain, externally or internally. You're never going to have to deal with emotional pain. You don't have to worry about shit. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to put us in the greatest position that we have ever been, and that we ever will be, because that's another thing, it's forever, right? Like, you might have a great weekend, and then once Sunday comes around and the sun's going down, it's like, well, I got to start basically preparing myself. Really, especially here in captivity, Jake really already started to do that Saturday night. Prepare yourself for work and, prepare your mind for that. I mean, and then especially Monday morning, it's like, well, you already know the rest of today is going to be gone in a flash. You're going to blink and it's fucking 7:40 at night. And that's how it is in Babylon, but in the kingdom of heaven, which is where the focus needs to be, right? I believe last lesson we were talking about that. That's where the focus needs to be, is on the kingdom of heaven. Keep your eyes single. Focus on what really matters. All this shit around us, it's fucking vanity, man. Don't worry about none of this shit. Okay? Let these people have it. And you see what they're about to have. Everything that these people have invested in regards to this world is all going to fade away and come to naught. You see? And that, because that, like it says in the end right there, it says, for the former things are passed away. That part of the former things is all it is. Right? Like Apostle Peter said, seeing that all of these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Right? That's why we have changed our ways. That's why we walk contrary to the world, because we're seeking a better place, right? We're seeking the kingdom of heaven. We don't want to be here. All right, we don't want to continue to deal with this fucking bullshit. Traffic, knee pain, children not listening to you, women problems, all right, late bills, going to work. We don't want to continue to deal with this shit for another 80 fucking years. And I'm here to tell you that you're not going to have to, because the kingdom of heaven is nigh at hand. Now, is it going to be here this year, next year? We don't know. But we ain't talking about no goddamn 5 years. We ain't talking about no 10 years. This thing is close. Okay? We're at the door. I mean, they're talking about how we could be weeks away from heavy economic impact. And you look around and what is everybody worried about? Still talking about the Knicks winning the finals, the World Cup, talking about the next football season. These people are fucking losers, man. That's the reality, that you're a fucking loser. You're worried about the World Cup. You're worried about the NBA finals. You're worried about the NFL draft or this draft, that. Bro, you're about to be drafted. Fuck all that vanity bullshit, man. But that's how you know, because that's how you know this is Rome, because everybody's so infatuated with the bread and circuses. Everybody's, nobody knows what the fuck is going on. And it's really a beautiful thing. It really is. Because while everybody else is out here asleep, remaining in the congregation of the dead, the men of the Lord, and the believers, they're acquiring more wisdom, right? They're acquiring more faith. They're getting built up. And they see what's going on. We're prepared. To a degree. Of course, you can't really prepare for Jacob's trouble, but the Lord, best believe, man, the Lord ain't gonna have us fight a boss that we ain't got the weapons or the power-ups to do it. That's that 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. The Lord is not gonna put you in a situation that you can't handle, no matter what it is, right? Because you're gonna deal with things in the time of Jacob's trouble that you've never even seen in a fucking movie or a video game. This has never happened. You've never dealt with this. And here you are. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to work. It has to. Why does it have to? Because the Lord said, none of the elect will be plucked out of his hand. If you believe that you're a man of the Lord, or a true believer, woman, child, you can't be plucked out of the Lord's hand. There's nothing anybody, like it says in Romans 8, nothing can separate you from the love of Hamashiach Yahushai, man. Not a damn thing. Nothing, man. Nothing at all. So don't fret, don't worry. All your enemies, all the people that talk shit about you, all the people that want to do harm unto you, the Lord's going to take care of them. He's going to take care of them, as he always has. Look at all the enemies of the men of the Lord in the scriptures. Like it says in Romans 15 and 4, these things were written aforetime for our learning. Look at all of the men of old, all their enemies. Where are they at? Where's their memorial? Right? Trust the Lord. He's our power. Yahweh B'Shem Shai, you got to trust them, man. They got it in the bag. Everything's already planned. The game is rigged from the jump. All right? The Lord essentially, is telling you, look, put $1 million. Let me not say $1 million, because most of us don't have nowhere near that, of course, right? But for anybody that's done sports betting, the Lord is like, look, I'm going to send you a parlay. Put every single dollar you have to your name into this parlay. I guarantee you this is going to hit. So you might put in $112. That's all I got, Lord. You sacrificed everything you got. You trusted in him. Boom. First leg hit, second leg, third, fourth, fifth leg, bang. Now you got 157K. You know, that's basically what we're dealing with here. Except we're putting in, you know, because it's bigger than fucking money. All right, way bigger than money. You know, but we're putting in our time, our energy, our lives, right? Like it says in Romans 12:1. Which the thing is, you're putting all these things on the table for the Lord, but you might not even lose these things, right? You might not lose your woman. You might not lose your kids. You're definitely gonna lose your job in your house. I mean, how the hell are you gonna keep those things with what's coming, right? And the chip and all, like, come on. But you might not lose your woman. You might not lose your kids. You might not lose your life, right? Many are not gonna taste of death. So the Lord is just looking for you to be willing to sacrifice these things for his sake. You know, and look at Job. What did he say? So we receive good at the hand of the Lord and not evil? It's part of the program, baby. That's just how it works. You know? And my woman made a good point. Because fucking South Park was on, and they, you know, were bringing up some Bible, you know how they so-called whitewash everything, and people be making, you know, jokes of it and all that, but she made a point. She said because they showed Job on there, and she was like, why didn't they talk about what he received at the end? And that's a big point, because a lot of people and Christians and all that, they always talk about Job and how he got basically smote by the Lord and all these things were taken from him, but nobody talks about the fact that he came out at the end with way more than he had. Way more. Right? Yahushua said, you forsake these things for my name's sake, you'll receive 100-fold. You might give up a woman. You might give up a kid. You might give up a couple jobs. You know? Fuck it. Bro, you are going to be if you're a man, you know, especially a prophet, you might be in the governing body. You might be able to sit at the table with Yahushua. You're going to give that up for some fucking twat? For a goddamn job that's going to pay you $3 more an hour because they want you to go over the road and be away from work and from the camp? Fuck that shit, man. Are you serious? That's why you got to count the cost of this thing too, bro. Because once you're in here and you put your hands on it, here it is. Jake in the world was in all, you know, join gangs or join different clubs and all of this, and to where leaving is not really an option, or it's a strenuous process, right? So here it is. Jake came from being a Crip or maybe he was a varsity athlete or something, you know, and it was just a big process and a whole lot of shame with him. But you think with the truth you can just walk off like it's McDonald's, like it's your 15-minute break, you can just walk off and go home. No, bro. This is where it's deadly serious. All right. Fuck gangs, you know, fuck cartels and the mob and sports teams and fuck even these damn Freemasons, Illuminati. You have a better chance leaving the Illuminati and living than you do leaving the truth. Guarantee. I will put every dollar I have on that. You have a better chance walking off of the Illuminati and disappearing into the sunset than you will leaving this ministry. Than you will stop pushing the plow, doing videos, going to camp, praying, fasting. Because you do those things here, you are guaranteed fucked. Guaranteed. You can't run from the Lord, man. And also remember Ecclesiastes 12:13. The whole duty of man is to fear God and keep his commandments. That's the whole reason why you're here. And now the Lord has given you the chance to fulfill your purpose. And you said, I'm tired, Lord. Fuck you, man. What kind of shit is that? You gotta count the cost, bro. And look what's on the line. The kingdom, man. You really want to make it to the kingdom of heaven just because you came from the ball sack of a so-called black man? Come on, bro. Fuck that. You should be trying to get to the king. You should try to earn it. Which we already know you can't really earn it because it's not about works. But, bro, you want the Lord to be able to say, you did good. Good job. I appreciate your efforts. The water. That's what we're trying to hear, man. Yeah, well, you came out of the Patriarch Naphtali's ball sack, so here you go. Here's the kingdom. No, fuck that shit, man. No. You can do better than that, bro. You know? You finally found a reason to live and to breathe and to walk the earth. Fulfill it. Keep going.
Increase following distance.
Increase. Tazamak. Grow. You know? There's a whole bunch, just like when Jake played video games and there's all these different categories that you can upgrade with your skill points. Same thing in the truth. You're not going to get 1,000,000 skill points overnight. You get one here, you get one there, you get, oh, Lord, put you through the ringer here. Here's another skill point, add it to this one. This category. You see, it's a process. But if you give up on the process, the Lord's going to give up on you. All right, so Lord, when this lesson was edifying, before I close, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. No honors go out to the Apostle Elsgray Millstone. Shalom.